From Lacombe, Alberta. As a former Canadian Forces soldier who has served overseas with NATO, my question for Elizabeth May is, with the war in Afghanistan still going on, what part of Canada's military budget do you propose we cut that in no way would affect the safety or the lives of the men and women serving overseas or for the support for their families back home? That being said, what role do you see for the Canadian military and what level of support is your party prepared to offer them in the future? Thank you.
Well, let's divide that into two. First of all, what would you cut?
Looking at where does it make sense for Canada to spend millions of dollars, and where does it make sense not to? And that analysis, I would want to sit down with the military and ensure that we had more money going to families, better care for our returning veterans, which right now we're not doing a good enough job. I think where we can save the most money is in the area of equipment, not significant cuts at all to our military. We want to make sure that we're having a Canadian military that knows its purpose, knows its mission, is better prepared for deployment around the world for disaster relief, such as for the DART operations and so on. What
is its purpose under the Green Party? Because you actually want to change the Defense Department's name to Department of Peace.
Yes, as a long-term goal, because peacemaking and peacekeeping takes as many resources as preparation for war. If you want to have a secure world, you're better to be thinking of it in terms of how do we invest in peace? How do we ensure that conflict resolution is adequately resourced? It's a scandal that Darfur still hangs there in a genocidal situation, that Canada refused.
I don't think anybody argued with that. The question is, you actually want to take the word defense out of the mission of those who are protecting Canada?
But what are we being protected from? Our single biggest threat is the climate crisis. Our single biggest threat are things that are not related to other enemies external to us training guns on us. What we need to have a more secure world is conflict resolution that's meaningful, not Band-Aid solutions on a region that's a hotspot. And then this is not just about Canada. This is the world community. How do we respond to hotspots? How do we respond to the Congo, to Darfur? And by the way, the Greens would not withdraw troops from Afghanistan as other parties would. We want to ensure that the mission that our soldiers are in has a strategic chance of success, which the current NATO mission does not, in our view. We'd want to see the United Nations more fully involved.